All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson, excuse me. This is going to be a lesson on that Edomite woman. This Edomite woman that went around talking about you can't read yourself into the scriptures, right? Like you can't read yourself into the scriptures, as if the Negro, Latino, and Native American deliberately made themselves go through the things that they went through on earth, and then to try and make it match the Bible, and it's as if it's been some 100-year plan, some centuries-long plan, that we deliberately made ourselves go through the Atlantic slave trade, so that years later we could say, see, this happened to us because of Deuteronomy 28. All these things happened to us because of Deuteronomy 28. When if we had the power to do such things, surely we would have made ourselves be under the blessings, right? Surely we would have put ourselves under the blessings. Right now, I want to just show some things in the scriptures that Yahweh's in control of what takes place on the earth, man. Is it Sirach chapter 18 and verse 1, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 18 and verse 1? He that liveth forever have created all things in general. Yahweh only is righteous, and there is none other but he, who governeth the world with the palm of his hand. And that's the point I wanted to make, man. The things that happen on earth are decided by God, right? So if we're able to, as this woman was saying, read ourselves into the scriptures, if we're able to read what's happened in our life and it's present in the scriptures, that's not coincidence. That happened because we're the people that these prophecies are talking about. Right now, she said you can't read yourself into the scriptures, right? But here's the thing, we can. We're able to look at things that have happened in our life and just go through the scriptures and see this is talking about us. And I'm going to show some examples of how we can easily do that. But the small hats, they're not able to. The small hat is not able to just, okay, Isaiah 3 and verse 16. This is talking about our women. We can do it. And guess what? I'm going to do it right now. Right? I'm going to do it right now. And no one else on this earth can say that this is happening to their women. Now, our women will deny it because they're proud and they don't want to accept that their lack of hair is because of their own attitude, because women in general lack accountability anyway. Right? Women in general lack accountability anyway, and women don't want to accept that their lack of beauty is because of an internal thing that they did. Right? Just like the whole nation of Israel in general does not want to accept that their current low position on earth is because of the internal things that led to external things that David did on earth, man. Right? Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16, moreover Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty. Now, in order to see who this is talking about, right, you're going to have to find people on earth that you claim are the daughters of Zion, right? In order to understand what this is talking about, you would have to say who you think the daughters of Zion are. So you'd have to pick someone on this earth, and then this would be, you would have to be saying, okay, this is applying to these people, right? We say as Hebrew Israelites that this is applying to the so-called black woman in particular, that the so-called black woman who we believe is the southern kingdom of Israel, African Americans, Caribbeans, Haitians, all like that. We believe that's the southern kingdom, and we believe that this curse happened mainly to the southern kingdom of Israel, who we believe are the groups I just mentioned. Now, if you've got a problem with that, you say who you think it is. Because it's real easy to say, oh, what you think is the Bible's talking about isn't that. Okay, the southern kingdom ain't what I just said. Who is it then? Forget telling us who it ain't. Tell us who it is as well. Because it's easy to disagree, but it's real more difficult to disagree and then give your own alternative answer. That's where things become a bit tricky, right? And that's why you don't really see these Christians do that. They say, oh, whatever Hebrew Israelite said it is, it ain't that. But I ain't going to say what it is, though. But it's definitely not whatever you're talking about. That's what they pretty much do all the time to us, man. And then they're still just focusing on a virgin birth. Is Jesus God? And is heaven and hell? Which all those things that they're talking about are not in the scriptures. And it's so clear to see. But let's carry on reading. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty. So who's the daughters of Zion? Right? And because you'd have to be like, okay, these daughters of Zion, were walking were haughty, meaning they were proud and arrogant, and they were walking with stretched forth necks and one-ton eyes, walking and mincing as they go. Who is this talking about? This is going to be talking about a group of women on earth. Who? Who do you think? I've said who I think it is. The so-called black woman in particular. The women that get called black, not Ethiopian and Somali and all that, right? And all these like West Africa, and I'm talking about West Africans, African Americans, Caribbeans, Haitians, all that. That's the people that's talking about that, and that's the reason why they can't grow hair. That's the reason why, as you're gonna see, they have weave in their hair, man, because they've been cursed in their hair and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. So, who are the daughters of Zion? Because whoever they are, you're going to be able to look. They're going to be able to look at their life and see, man, that's happened to us. That's what they're going to be able to see. Now, all you people have got a problem with that. No, they're going to be able to see it. They're going to be able to see this is talking about our life. This here is talking about our life. They're going to see what's happening in their life, and they're going to read about it in the scriptures. They're not reading themselves in the scriptures. They're going to read about what's happening in their life in the scriptures. You understand? You Christians are trying to make out like we wrote a Bible and deliberately tried to, you know what I mean? And here's the thing. Why are we able to so easily fit into Deuteronomy 28, but nobody else on this earth is? If any other nation tried to make themselves fit into every single scripture, every single curse in particular of Deuteronomy 28, right? They would have to go back some 1,000 years thing that none of us can prove even happened. But everyone agrees that the Atlantic slave trade happened. So that's our Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68 there right away. What's your people's Deuteronomy 28 and 68? What's the small hats Deuteronomy 28 and 68? Something that happened in Josephus. How do they prove that was them? We could claim that was us as well. We could say, yeah, the Josephus thing was us. And so was the Atlantic slave trade. We had two Deuteronomy 28 and 68. We could easily say that. We could easily say that because they can't prove that the things in Josephus that they claim are Deuteronomy 28 and 68 was them. They can't prove that that stuff happened thousands of years ago. They can't prove that. But we can prove that we went on slavery in ships in the Atlantic slave trade. We can prove that. We can prove that America has a whole bunch of symbolism connecting to Egypt. We can prove that. They got a pyramid on the dollar bill. They was gonna make there be Moses splitting the Red Sea as the Great Seal on the American dollar, right, or on the American dollar, one of the American bills. But instead of making America Moses splitting the Red Sea, they turned it into a pyramid. They made it be a pyramid instead. They was gonna make it be Moses, but they made it be a pyramid instead because the spirit was with it, being that to show that it's spiritually Egypt, man. Verse 17, therefore Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle of rent, and instead of well-set hair boldness. Now who's this talking about? Because we can show plenty of our so-called black women that they do not have hair, and it doesn't even make sense why they don't have hair. It doesn't make sense why they don't have it. It actually don't make sense because the men of our nation can grow long hair. So if the men of the nation can grow long hair that came from the same mums and fathers as the women, why can't the women grow it? Because it's a spiritual thing on them. And the women even notice and mention and are more attracted to the men that have long hair because they hope if they sleep with a man that's got long hair and get pregnant by him, that will get rid of that curse on their hair and that their children will grow up with that hair, man. But it doesn't happen like that. The child can still end up cursed in the hair because it's a spiritual thing, man. But spiritual things play out on earth, and you don't read yourself into them. You read about them in the scriptures, right? So I've already shown that simple example right there. But then here's the thing: it's not just about trying to read people and humans into the scriptures. No, places are also mentioned in the scriptures, but you have to look at it spiritually, man. So, for example, America is found in the scriptures, right? But it's not going to say America. Now, let me go to this. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 5. and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. So it's a mystery as to what Babylon the Great is, and everyone ain't gonna know. Everyone ain't gonna agree on what it is, right? It's not gonna be a thing that is just gonna be easily able to see when you read the scriptures. You're gonna have to look at things on earth. You're not just gonna be able to read the Bible and see and know what it is. No, you're gonna have to look at things on earth, places on earth, and connect them to this prophecy. That's what you're gonna have to do. Just like with the MOT, and I'll get to that as well. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now, let's go to this, Revelation chapter 18 and verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. This is going into the destruction that Babylon the Great is going to receive, and the aftermath of what it's going to become. It's not going to be a place that humans dwell. It's going to be a place that animals that can handle extremely harsh habitats are going to live. Verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. So therefore, in order to understand what this place, Babylon the Great, is, you're going to have to look at the places on earth, right, and see what place is able to do exactly that. What place has got all the different rulers of the earth, the presidents, prime ministers, people of the earth, got all of these different places joining them with its ideas, right? And have waxed rich through the abundance of his delicacy. What place has made all other places be able to become rich through them and through the things that they enjoy doing, man? What place? It's clearly America. Now, are we reading America into the scriptures? Or do we look at America and how they live, and then we read about it in the scriptures? Which one are we doing? Are we forcing America to be in the scriptures? Or is it just America, the thing that it's doing, is clearly written in the scriptures in Revelation 18, and we can read about it in Revelation 18? Which one is it, man? Because somewhere on earth has got to be Babylon the Great. So when you decide whether you think Babylon the Great is, are you reading it into the scriptures? When you decide whoever you think the Israelites are, would you not use the Bible? Would the Bible not play some part? Would the Bible not play some part? Like, what percentage of the Bible do you have to use to find out who the real Israelites are? Like, what percentage? Because if you say 0, you're a demon. So what percentage? 1%, 10, 9, 100%, 50. Like, there's got to be some percentage of what you think, okay, this percentage of the Bible, I can agree to a certain degree. Some of these things would show who the Israelites are. Otherwise, how do you attribute prophecy to the children of Israel? How? Where are the prophecies written? Are they not written in the Bible? So then when you say who you think the Israelites are you reading it into the scriptures? Are you reading them into the scriptures? Or are you a hypocrite that wants to put one standard on us and then another standard for yourself? So we can't try and say that we're Israelites based on anything written in the Bible, but you can. Either way it goes, you have to accept that the Bible is necessary to look at prophecies concerning the children of Israel. But then if you try and say that these things are happening to these people because of the Bible, then are you reading them into the scriptures? Or are you claiming that that's prophecy? Because when Mr. 47 became president for the first time, people was trying to make it like he's going to build some third temple, which the scriptures clearly say in the book of Revelation that there's no third temple in the kingdom. Because Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are the temple in it, man. There ain't no temple in there. Verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow. and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh who judgeth her. Now, some Christians have tried to say, oh, that was talking about ancient Babylon, that was, right? Well, either way, wherever you want to say Babylon the Great is, you're reading it into the scriptures then. Because unless you're trying to make it like, oh, that's just something that we're not allowed to do, then you're a hypocrite though. In order to know what prophecy, in order to see if prophecies even happened, you have to agree, okay, this prophecy is talking about this place, and this particular event has to happen to this place in regards to these people in order for this prophecy to come to pass. Now, when that happens, the event happens, are you reading it into the scriptures? Like, you people have got to tell us what you're saying, man, because as far as I'm concerned, you're chatting shit. You're trying to set a standard for us that you don't want to live by yourself. You don't want to live according to that yourself, man. Verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and live deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament her when they see the smoke of her burning. Where's going to be burning? Now, if America in the future ends up burnt to smithereens, right, does not exist anymore, and everywhere just been burned down through nuclear fire, and we say this has happened because of this prophecy, are you going to say we're reading it into the scriptures? Or are you going to accept it then? What are you people saying, man? What the hell are you people talking about? What are you people talking about, man? That woman's comment just showed that she doesn't really believe that the Bible has any significance. She really doesn't believe that there's anything left to happen in the Bible. She really thinks this is the kingdom of heaven. Because if something happens on the earth and somebody reads about it and like, yeah, this is talking about this, she'll say, oh, you're reading it into the scriptures. You can't just read yourself into the scriptures. That's what she'll say. But then here's the thing: the laws in the Bible, right? You're reading about situations, right? So an adulterer and an adulteress, really, there's a certain thing that's supposed to happen when somebody does that. But what she gonna say? Oh, you're reading that into the scriptures. That ain't talking about me doing it. That's talking about someone else doing it. And that's where these Christians have these dumb standards of you can't eat pork. Oh, that's not talking about us Gentiles. That's talking about everyone. But then at the same time, us Gentiles, we're spiritual Israel now. But we don't have to do anything that Israelites had to do though. But we're spiritual Israel. But we don't have to do nothing Israel did. But yeah, we're spiritual Israel. We're the real Israel now. But we don't have to do nothing that Israel did. But we're Israel now though. But they're not Israel and they're cast away. And we are Israel and we're not cast away. And we're going to get all the promises that the Israelites we're going to receive. But we don't have to do nothing that the Israelites did ever in our life, now nor in the future. That's the dumb foolishness that they're trying to talk about, man. It's so dumb. Verse 10, standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchant of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver. And this is going to get read to you, Edomites in the kingdom, by the way. I'm going to be reading it to mine anyway. My batch of captives. I'm going to read this to them, man. I'm reading this. Right? Lord will, man. I'm going to read this to y'all, man. I mean, like, that's talking about that America place that y'all used to have. Remember that? Remember that dumb place that y'all used to have? Where people was doing stupid food challenges. Yeah? Where people was drinking a 5-liter grape soda. And doing a dumb challenge. Remember that place where people was doing TikToks all the time? And they had them big Mickey Mouse hands. Remember that place? Yeah? Where people were skiing and all that dumb foolishness. Remember that place? Remember that place where y'all tried to mock the Israelites, the children of Israel, and tell them that they're never going to get revenge and that they're not getting reparations and that they're going to just have to get over it. Remember that place? This is talking about that. This is talking about the best place that you Edomites ever made. And it's gone. And it's never going to come back. That place, nor anything like it. You're never going to have even a small baby America. You're not going to get a daughter. You're not going to get a granddaughter of Babylon, right? Y'all had a daughter of Babylon, right? Babylon the Great. But y'all ain't gonna get a granddaughter of Babylon, man. Y'all ain't gonna get a nephew, a niece of Babylon the Great. Y'all ain't gonna get nothing, man. A cat or a dog of Babylon the Great. Y'all ain't gonna get none of it. There ain't gonna be a Babylon the Great's niece. None of that, man. Or Babylon the Great's great, great, great grandpappy. Or nothing like that. Y'all ain't gonna get none of that. Let's carry on. Verse 12. For the merchandise of gold and silver. These are all things that you'll see all in abundance in America. All them rappers with them dumb chains on, right? Which it looks all right, right? We're gonna have some stuff like that in the kingdom. Better though. Big gemstones, man. That weigh 20 kilograms. We're gonna have all kind of flowing stuff to just show out, man. Because that's what Jake likes to do. The merchandise of gold. Yahweh even put that on the Levites and put that on the priests, man, and gave them kind of things with them shiny gem jewels and all that. The merchandise of gold and silver and the precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk. Is you trying to tell me this ain't the stuff that's in America? You're trying to tell me this ain't the stuff that's in America more in abundance than anywhere else? But am I reading America into the scriptures by attributing these things to it? Or is it just naturally there? And then if you want to say I'm reading into the scripture, okay, who are you saying is Babylon the Great then? Who, where, what, when are you saying Babylon the Great? And then how comes when then you say it, you're not considered to be reading it into the scriptures? And that's the thing with you Christians, man. You Edomite men, you Edomite women, you Negroes. Y'all are just hypocrites. Christianity is just a bunch of hypocrites, man. They'll tell us that we're doing something, and then they'll do the same thing, and then they're not doing it. Or y'all are cherry picking scriptures. Why did you go straight to Romans 9 and 13 to say that God hates? What's the context? How comes you didn't start from verse 1? Anyway, this is John chapter 3 and verse 60. Hang on, how comes you didn't start from verse 1? How comes you never started at verse 1? Oh, y'all at Revelation 13 and 9. What's the context? Y'all never started at that. Oh, but anyway, there's neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither bond nor... Okay, but how comes you never started at verse 1 though? Huh? Where's your verse 1? As if I meant to just start from the book of Genesis 1 and verse 1. And then finally, 20 years later, we get to the verse we want. Or as if we got to start from the beginning book. But then they don't do that though. This is John 3 and 16. Okay, so there's 15 verses before that then. And then whenever they say, tell the context and all that, right? Or can I just read it first? When you ever say, you hear a Jake say, an Israelite say to them, break it down. What they'll do is they'll say, okay, just give me a few seconds and a few moments to break it down, right? And all they'll do is read the whole verse and then get to the verse that you read, and they haven't said, explain any of the verses before. So then there was really no need to even read the verses before anyway, because they never explained none of the verses before. Neither did they end up explaining the initial verse that you wanted them to break down. Because they're full of shit, man. They can tell you what it ain't, but they can't tell you what it is straight up. And this is something that I've noticed about these Christian scumbags, man. Oh, y'all are reading yourselves into the scriptures. Okay, but what are you doing then when it comes to prophecy? What are you doing? Now, I've already went to this point, right? But then, okay, let's go to this. Because this is a very important prophecy. And are you going to apply the same? Oh, you can't read things into the scriptures. If you can't read yourself into the scriptures, then can you read things into the scriptures? Can you read about, and it's not that we're reading ourselves into the scriptures. It's that we're reading about ourselves into the scriptures. And these Christians have got a problem with that because it's so blatantly obvious that our life is shown in the scriptures. Our punishment and our sorrow is found in Deuteronomy 28, man. And that's why, as much as Christians don't want us to use that verse or that chapter, neither do they use it. Right? They got a problem with us using it. That would be one of them verses, and that would have been one of the verses that was definitely taken out of that slave Bible that they had, man. Just like there's neither Jew nor Greek was taken out. But it's funny how now they want to try and talk about that. They took out the book of Exodus too. They would have took out Deuteronomy 28 from there, man. They would have. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And the cause of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, what's this mark then? Oh, it's a white woman dating a black man, brother. No, it's not, bro. Relax yourself. Oh, the mark of the beast. I tell you what, the mark of the beast is, young brother. It's the Christianity. Relax yourself. No, it's not, bro. Stop chatting shit, man. And then when it comes to a Christian, that's what a fake Jake's gonna say, Israelite man. That's lost. But then what are you Christians gonna say? Oh, it's just whatever the Hebrew Israelites said it is. It's not that. But I ain't gonna go into it. I ain't gonna tell people what this is that they should be avoiding. But I'm just gonna tell them don't listen to whatever the Israelites said it was, though. But I ain't gonna tell them what I think it was so that they can avoid whatever I think. And the thing is, you Christians that follow these people are not suspicious of that. You think it doesn't matter because y'all are so dumb. You believe that you're saved already, yet there's something that you have to look out for. Though there's something that you have to look out for, but then y'all are talking about you're saved, but the thing that you have to look out for hasn't happened yet. Oh, I'm saved already, but yeah, there is a mark of the beast thing that we have to also look out for. But I'm saved, so I'm gonna be all right no matter what. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, man. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast and the number of his name. So if you decide to look at something that can go in your hand or in your and in your head, that can go in your hand and or in your head, right, and can be used to buy or sell, are you reading that thing into the scriptures, or are you reading about it in the scriptures? Right? Which one is it? Because how does prophecy work then? How does prophecy work, man? When Isaiah was, when Daniel, excuse me, I'm not even going to use Isaiah. When Daniel was prophesying about all those different kingdoms, was he falsely putting them into the scriptures, or was he actually acknowledging these places? And then when these things came to pass in their time, were men reading them into the scriptures? Was Cyrus reading him? If when Cyrus would have seen that he was in the scriptures, was he being read into the scriptures? Could somebody have said, "Oh, you can't read yourself into the scriptures, Cyrus," or is he actually in there? But because he's mentioned by name, you people accept that. But there's other people that are mentioned in the scriptures not by name, though. There's other things written in the scriptures not by name. The children of Israel are written in the scriptures, and the things that was gonna go through, and did, and have gone through, and are going to go through. Jacob's trouble, for example, are written in the scriptures. And when we say that we're getting ready for this to happen to us, are we reading ourselves into the scriptures, or are we reading about what we're gonna go through in the scriptures? Like, what are you people talking about, man? What are you people talking about? You can't, you people are joking. Jehovah's Witnesses actually tried to claim that the 144,000 are Jehovah's Witnesses. Has that same woman said you can't read yourself into the scriptures about that? The 144,000 are clearly mentioned as being Israelites, but you Christians will say that they're not. When you go to Hebrews the 8th chapter and the 10th verse and you read about the new covenant, right, which I'm going to do right now, in fact, when you go to Hebrews the 8th chapter, yeah, when you go Hebrews 8 and 10, it says this: for this is the covenant that I'll make with the house of Israel after those days. But whenever you hear this verse be read by a Christian, they say that's talking about spiritual Israel. Does it say that? So would they claim that they're reading themselves into the scriptures now? Whenever they claim spiritual Israel, whenever it's just mentioned Israel in the scriptures and don't say the word spiritual before it, are they reading themselves into the scriptures? Because they're not claiming to be those literal Israelites. Yet they want to try and make the literal prophecies for the Israelites somehow land into their life, man. But only the good things, though, not none of the bad things. And that's why we can't take you Christians seriously, man, because you're a bunch of demons. You're full of shit, man. You're full of shit. Verse 10, for this is the covenant I make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh, I'll put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I'll be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. Now, what are you people talking about, man? But they'll try, a Christianity will try and claim that that's talking about everyone in that believes. But it says the house of Israel, though. It literally says the house of Israel. But they won't say that they're reading themselves into the scriptures because they're hypocrites, man. Like what Christianity wants to be able to do, yeah, is set a standard for us that they don't set for no one else. So when we say that we're an Israelite, we gotta get a DNA test from Moses' thumbprint, right? We gotta get a blood thumbprint from Moses, from Aaron, from King David himself, from all of Judah. You know what I mean? But then when the small hat says that they're one, they're like, oh, I never knew. They just have to put a small tea cozy on there, a small hat on their head, right? A small sombrero, right? And then like, oh, I never knew you was a Jewish. I never knew you was one. You never said. How comes you never said? Any Chinese, random Ethiopian can just claim that they are, and they're like, oh, I never knew. Any celebrity can come out and say that they are, and they're like, oh, did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that? Blah de blah blah was a small hatter. Nah, I never knew. He must be wealthy then. Like you people are a joke, man. When it comes to us, we gotta have we gotta have a picture with where Aaron, where Abraham was pushing us in a buggy when we was a baby. You know what I mean? We got us to have a picture of our dad arm wrestling with Jacob. You know, we got to see our one of our cousins has got to be one of King David's mighty men, and we've got to have a picture proof of it. You know what I mean? Signed and dated. But when anyone else says that they're anything to do with the Bible, they don't have to prove nothing. When we say that we're Israelite, everyone wants all this proof. Oh, can you show a DNA? But then they don't say that to the other people that are claiming that they're Israelites. They don't say to them, have you got a DNA test? They don't say it because they're hypocrites, man. And that's why they'll say some stupidness like, oh, you're reading yourself into the scriptures. But then when the president of Israel is talking about oh, we're going to get rid of Edom. Okay, so then you should be saying to them, you can't read them so-called Palestinians into the scriptures as an excuse and call them Edom so that you can have an excuse to hurt them. But they don't say that though. They only say these things to us. And it's a way to try and make us not be who we are. But we are the Israelites, man. But you can't read yourself into the scriptures. Cut the BS, man. And let me get this. They only exalt to cast us down from an excellency, man. So they're trying to come up with all these different things to try and make us not be the Israelites. In fact, where is, man? I'm in the wrong place. It's 62. Yeah, man. 40 I should know, right? Psalm 62 and verse 4. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. One of their lies is that you can't read, because the way how they try and word it, or you can't read yourself into the scriptures. That's how prophecy works, dumbass. You read about, and it's not reading yourself into the scriptures, it's reading about yourself in the scriptures. And here's the thing, if you're wrong, then it won't come to pass. So why are you getting so offended by us claiming that we're the Israelites? If we're wrong, then we ain't going to get the chariots, we ain't going to get salvation, we ain't going to get all these beautiful things that we're waiting for. But if we're right, then y'all are fruit. If we're right about what we're saying, y'all are done. But if we're wrong, then why do you care anyway? If we're wrong, we're going to look real stupid in the next coming years, right? In the next 1 to 30 years, we'll be expecting to be in the kingdom within the next, we'll be expecting really to be in the kingdom within the next like half a decade. We're expecting to have been in the kingdom for some years. We're going to look real stupid then if it don't happen, right? So why do you care? Because it's not like you like us, right? So why do you care? They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. And that's what they're saying when they're saying you can't read yourself in the script. You fucking definitely, you fucking Israelite. Why the fuck won't you just do what I say? Why won't you just believe what I'm telling you? I'm a so-called white man. I'm a so-called white woman. Just believe that and just be black, okay? Just be black, all right? Just be black. You're black. You're from Ham, and I'm the chosen, and I'm really Israel. No, you're not. Yeah, you're an Edomite, Obadiah 1:18 style, man. Yeah, that's what y'all are. You think you can tell us who we are? You think that we have to, like, man, it's ridiculous to me. You Christians still don't understand that we don't have to believe the Bible the way you believe it. We don't have to read the Bible the way how you read it. We don't have to interpret the Bible the way you interpret it. We don't have to say 1 John. We'll say 1 John, yeah, when we're calling and reading the scriptures. We don't have to interpret the Bible the way you do. We don't have to anything the Bible the way that you do. So if we want to read ourselves into the scriptures, we can, and we're going to, whether you like it or not. If we want to claim that we're not reading ourselves into the scriptures and that we're reading us about ourselves in the scriptures, we're going to do that as well. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Or are you going to harm us? Okay, that's Jacob's trouble. We've read about that. When it's happening, we're going to be reading about it in the scriptures, man. Reading about us. We already know what y'all are going to do. We already know y'all are going to lie. These people, we've got certain groups that they are not fit to be in our civilization. Yeah, right. We already know what y'all are going to try and do, man. We have to get them before they get us. Yeah, they're dangerous. We already know what kind of foolishness y'all are going to be coming with. We already know. That's Jacob's trouble when it happens, man. We already know that you want to micro CHIP everyone. That's Revelation 13 and verse 16. But we also know that y'all are going into captivity. Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1 to verse 2. Revelation chapter 13 verse 9 to verse 10. Revelation chapter 2 verse 25 to verse 27. Right? Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 16. Or I believe it's Jeremiah 31 to verse 16. But you know what? Since I'm here and I've got the availability to read about it, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Jeremiah chapter 13 verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. Did you devour us? Yes, you're going to get devoured. All thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. Are you adversaries? Yes, you are. Telling us we can't read about ourselves, but you're wording it as read ourselves into the scriptures. Or you can't claim that that's talking about your life. So who can then? Because it's obviously talking about somebody. So who can talk about it then? And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. Did you spoil us? Yeah, you did. So you're going to be a spoil. And all that prey upon thee will I give thee for a prey. Did you prey upon us? Yeah, you did. So you're going to be a prey. Right? Straight like that, man. Straight up and down. Straight up and down. Just like that. Yeah. All your crybaby tactics. Or y'all can't do this and y'all can't do it. We're going to do it. We're going to read about ourselves. We're going to read ourselves to the scriptures. We're going to do all that. And if what we're reading about is wrong, it's not going to happen. So why do you care, right? You should be focusing more about what your doctrine is. You Christians are so worried about our doctrine and telling us that our doctrine is wrong. Your doctrine isn't even complete. There's so many scriptures that you Christians will not dare, that none of your teachers, none of them would even dare to say what that means, man. They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare do it. They wouldn't dare go there. They wouldn't even bother. They wouldn't dare go into some of these things and start saying what they think it means. They wouldn't dare. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 10. For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off. Ever that's talking about you so-called white people are going to be embarrassed for all the wickedness that you did to us, man. Especially in the kingdom after the massive amounts of evil that you're going to do to us in Jacob's trouble. All the violence that you did against us. And it ended up leading to you being slaves that are under us anyway. You're going to be shamed for that. You're going to be ashamed, man. Because now you're the same people that you tried to kill off and massacre, you're now underneath them. And you can't say anything about what they're now doing to you, because look at what you was just doing to them a few weeks and months ago. Like after we get you Edomites in the kingdom in that first year, what can y'all say? Oh, why y'all doing this to us? Are you kidding me? How many people did y'all behead? Revelation 20 and 4 style? How many people did y'all behead, man? In fact, the guy that you beheaded is standing right next to you right now, but he's immortal now. So what are you talking about? You was fighting against the Messiah in World War III. What are you talking about? Why are we doing this here? What are you on about? Look at all the stuff that you was just doing. Just last week, like you are on about why are we doing this? Just last week. Just last week, you chopped my head off. And you talk. Imagine that. Just last week, you chopped my head off. Yeah, but I was resurrected by Yahushua, and you're talking about why am I doing this to you now? What are you on about? No, shame's gonna cover you because you ain't gonna be able to say nothing because you're gonna know that you did that just last week, man. That's what people don't understand, man. Like the Edomites that first end up in that first batch of captivity, they're gonna know, like it's gonna have been fresh. The wickedness that they're gonna have did it. The wickedness that they're gonna have did, excuse me. Let me just drink some water quickly, man. The wickedness that they're gonna have did in Jacob's trouble is gonna still be fresh. The damage on the earth is gonna still be very much visible, right? The smoke's still gonna be there. The weapons of Esau are gonna begin. That's gonna be the beginning phase of them getting destroyed. The dead bodies from World War III are gonna still be there. The skeletons are gonna still be there, man. So what are y'all gonna say? For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame's gonna cover you. There's gonna still be Israelite 2/3 carcasses scattered around, Edomite carcasses, all kind of heathens carcasses. And when you read about it in Ezekiel 39, I believe, you're gonna put down a post, put down as a marking point for removing the bones from World War III, man. What are y'all gonna say? Oh, I can't believe this is happening. No, for violence against thy brother Jacob, shame's gonna cover you, and you're gonna know that these things are happening to you, and you deserve them. What are you gonna say? What are y'all gonna say, man? Oh, this is ridiculous. This is preposterous. It weren't me. It was my forefathers. No, it was you. It was you literally last week. Last week, y'all was doing Jacob's trouble. This week, Yahushua came back. The kingdom of heaven's been established, and y'all are through. It was only a few weeks, last week, a week ago, a few months ago. Like, what are you talking about? World War III happened 6 months ago. What are you talking about? You don't understand why this is happening. World War III only just happened. It hasn't even been a year over. What are you talking about, man? America's still on fire. What are you on about? Why is this happening? America's still on fire. Can't you see the smoke over there? Do you see that smoke that's flowing through there? That's coming from Babylon the Great, America. What do you mean? Why is this happening? Excuse me. What do you mean? Why this is happening? For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame's gonna cover you, Edomites, man. We're gonna still have recordings, man, from your news media of some of the stuff that y'all have did. Some of them news media and all of that, and some of the videos and the tapes and all them files and all the video footage of all the dirty things y'all used to do in Hollywood. But some of y'all took them and put them on your boats and escaped in it. And you've got the footage and the tapes and y'all made copies and sent them around. We're gonna have access to some of that stuff too, man. And we're gonna get to view and be repulsed by the wickedness that some of you Edomites have did. Remember that when y'all are trying to say why is this happening? Look at these videotapes footage, man. Look at all these tapes footage of what y'all made these Jakes do, all these rappers and these basketball players and that. Look at the things that you made them do. What do you mean? Why is this happening? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why is this happening, man? For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame's gonna cover you. You ain't gonna be able to hide it. You're gonna know that you're getting judged and that there's not anything you can say to escape the judgment because look at what you did, and they're gonna have all the footage, all the information, all the evidence as to how much you hated them, and you ain't gonna be able to say nothing, man. When you watch them police videos and you just them criminal investigations and interrogations, and you just see that the officers just got all the information. Them criminals normally just can't say nothing, man. They just start crying. They don't want to talk about it anymore. They want to try and place something else, but they're shamed though. They see them and they're just shamed, man. And they're hoping that it will go away, but it don't go away, right? They're hoping, but it don't go away, man. That's gonna happen to you, Edomites, man. Talking about we can't read ourselves into the scriptures. We can't read ourselves into the scriptures, man. Hell are you people talking about? The Spirit itself. Let's get this. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God, man. You people need to get out of our damn business, man. Revelation chapter 8 and verse 16, the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. You can't tell us what to do when it comes to the Bible. You can't tell us how to read it. Or you're supposed to read it this way. Who are you to tell us? We don't believe what you're talking about. Or when it comes to the laws, that was back in Bible times. You don't tell us nothing. Don't tell me nothing. Oh, but when it says pork, that was because they didn't know how to cook it back in them times. Because they didn't cook it properly. They didn't know how to cook the bacteria out of it. Mate, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, man. They didn't know how to cook the bacteria out of it. Shut up, man. Man's knew how to build all kind of buildings and all kind of different things, where they didn't know how to cook the bacteria out of some pork, like they didn't have fire back then. Like the fire didn't work the same way as it does now. The hell are you people talking about, man? And I'm gonna end the video there, man. Don't believe none of the foolishness that these Christians come to you with about reading yourself into the scriptures and all that, man. Forget what they're talking about. We don't have to believe the Bible the way that they say. Shalom.